Welcome to an all-new Build Out live stream. You can join the stream every Wednesday at noon Eastern Daylight Time, exclusively here on LinkedIn. The stream will be starting in just 1 minute. In the meantime, let me take this opportunity to talk about the graphic design platform that I use to create the social media graphics, overlays, and studio graphics for the Build Out series. Canva is both an online platform for your desktop and laptop, and also offers an app for smartphones and tablets. With the Canva graphic design platform, you can easily create social media, presentations, posters, documents, and other visual and video content. While there is a free version, Canva is best when using the affordable Canva Pro subscription and Canva Enterprise. So if you want to build out your social media and visual content, you need to use Canva. I'll make it easy for you to sign up. Just use the referral link provided on this stream's event post or in the video description with this stream's recorded posted to my YouTube channel. Okay, now let's get this Build Out live stream started. Today my guest is author Eleni Anastos, whose new book, My Reinvented Life, Finding Purpose in the Pain, releases on August 17th. Eleni will preview her new book. Hey Eleni, welcome to the live stream today.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Oh, I've been really looking forward to this. We're going to talk about so much related to reinvention and, finding, as your book that's coming out, My Reinvented Life, Finding Purpose in the Pain. And we're going to cover that. Just so everyone knows, Eleni's book will be coming out, releasing on August 17th. But, before we get into the discussion on the book, let's talk a little bit about your background, your professional background. I mean, you're a professional coach. You do a lot of different business strategists and things like that. Could you provide some detail about, a little bit about your professional background?
Yes, absolutely. As you said, I am a professional coach, a business strategist, prosperity coach. I work with entrepreneurs and executives, and my ultimate goal is to help them create, the income and the impact and the lifestyle they desire at any age. I see far too many people that are plateaued or stuck at, I'm okay with being okay. If you're not making the money you want to make, if you're not making the impact you want to make, you don't have to stay there. So that's my goal. And reinvention is always a part of that. Reinventing how you do your own work, reinventing your business, reinventing, parts of your life so you can attain all those goals.
Yeah, we've had change happen. We're coming out, hopefully we're kind of coming out of a pandemic. In relation to the reinvention topic, what advice do you have for people who are looking to get back into the swing of everything?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one of the many things that the pandemic has reinforced is that change is inevitable. And reinvention is a vital part of navigating that change to move forward. And I have heard countless people say, maybe their businesses have closed. The world's been turned upside down. What worked for them yesterday is no longer an option today. And I've heard from too many people that, but it's all I've ever done. And I understand that. And I hear you, but I want you to understand it's not all that you are. It may be all you've ever done, but it's not all that you are. So I truly believe, with the right support, people can begin again. People have skill sets, they have knowledge, they have experience, they have expertise that could absolutely be applied in multiple arenas.
I do like the concept of reinvention. And, when I think of myself, I'm 55 years old. Eventually I'm going to get to a point where my full-time career, I'm probably going to look to obviously retire from that, but I don't want to retire from life. And so, I've got all this knowledge, this background, this skills and abilities. And so, my reinvention is going to be, that next step when I do retire, to work that second career as a senior person. And so, you have the opportunity, you work with a lot of individuals who are at that stage. What advice do you have for people who, they might be nervous, they might not be, very apprehensive? What advice do you have to them when you're looking at reinvention?
Well, it's a comfortable home, in that comfort zone. And that's where many of us have lived for a long, long time. And to truly believe and focus on your own vision, to not let others rent space in your head. Because I've talked to people that are passionate. I mean, I could hear your enthusiasm. You're not going to ride off into the sunset. You want to create another chapter in your book of life. So I don't want people to let anyone else write their story. And when other people say, oh, but you're already of a certain age, I had countless people tell me, I mean, I'm 61. I started my business in my 50s. Yeah, but you've been nothing but a teacher, or you're already of a certain age. Like, I'm well aware of the number on my driver's license. Thank you. And, I had to realize and accept that that was them projecting their limiting beliefs onto me. So you really have to have tunnel vision for your goals and dreams and really stay super focused on that, because there's always going to be somebody that's not willing to step up to the plate. And I believe that you wouldn't have that desire to create another chapter if you weren't capable of doing it.
Yeah. And Lee Wilson just posted this, do you see companies now downsizing and more people working remotely from home due to the pandemic? And, the thing with Reinvention is to be able to deal with situations where you might be, let's say, downsized, or now all of a sudden, instead of you being for myself, for example, I work more in the field than I work in an office, but, I'm doing a lot more today virtually. And a lot of the sessions I do, instead of face-to-face, they're face-to-face, but through a monitor.
Yes. Yes. And you're going to have to learn new things. You're going to have to learn, everyone has to adapt. But again, I want people to give themselves credit for the knowledge, for the experience, for the skill sets that they have. And even though up to this point, it may have only been applied in one arena, under one job title or one specific business, I promise you, with the right guidance, you're going to see it can be applied in multiple arenas. So don't sit with, but it's all I've ever done, because it's not all that you are.
Very good advice. Great advice. So let's talk about your upcoming book, My Reinvented Life: Finding Purpose in the Pain. What was the catalyst that sparked the book?
Yes, it was a very traumatic event that turned my world upside down. Life as I knew it ceased to exist. I was traumatized. I was physically hurt. I was dealing with PTSD. I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't even recognize that Eleni, being in that world of hurt. Like, what the hell happened here? I was just cruising along in life, and then boom, this incident. And I fought. It was hard, but I fought through it. I sought help that I thought was appropriate for me, that worked for me. And I say that specifically because there's not one size that fits all. As long as people are willing to reach out for support to help them through whatever they're dealing with, then I believe you can see the other side. And finding purpose in the pain, if I just focus on, oh, I was done wrong, I was betrayed, I was hurt, I'm going to stay in the struggle, and I'm going to find a nice home in that victim mentality. You can't grow in that headspace. No one can. Poor, pitiful me. Now, it's not right what was done to you. It's not fair. I'm not saying you deserved it, but I had to look for something in the situation that would help me, whether it's a lesson, some aha moment, any kind of an awareness that would help me moving forward so I could go from victim to victor.
Yeah, you don't want to live in that victim status. Yeah. We all have adversity in our lives. We've all had situations and events that happened. You had a very traumatic event. You could have just stayed in that victimhood, but you turned that around and you made it a positive thing. And you also are really giving of yourself when it comes to consulting people and guiding people when it comes to coaching and everything like that. Let's talk a little bit about some of the concepts within your book. The first one, healing.
Yes. someone asked me recently, well, how do you know when you're ready to share your story? Because as you just said, we've all dealt with trauma of varying levels. And to me, my attitude was you should share your scars, not your wounds. Because if you're asked to share and you're still so emotional, it just levels you, it's not helping you move forward. That's not helping you grow. So, there's still a lot of healing that needs to be done. But if you can talk about it because you're on the other side, then the healing has taken place. And I know, years ago, basically my whole life, I was always that quintessential, just pick yourself up by the bootstraps kind of gal. And if something really traumatic happened, I'm like, that's not going to get me down. I'm just going to forge on. And there were times where I didn't allow myself to properly heal. And boy, that comes back to bite you in the ass in a big way if you truly don't put in the work to heal.
And part of the healing leads to renewal, which is a concept that you also cover within your book.
Yes, because one of the gifts or one of the purposes in the pain is that you don't have to go back to the life that you had before. And I'm not saying anything was wrong with that life, but if it's still connected to the trauma, if it's still connected to what hurt you, what devastated you, there is no law that says you can't begin again. And again, regardless of age. So you can renew yourself at any point in time. And for me, the catalyst was a traumatic event where I decided I'm not going back to the life I had before. And it wasn't a bad life in any way, shape, or form. But I said, you know what? I'm going to use this as a launch pad to renew myself and go in a different direction.
Yeah, and when you look at renewal and reinvention, it also can lead to satisfaction and also abundance. Yes. Could you talk a little bit about some of the personal satisfaction individuals and then the abundance that individuals can achieve when they reinvent themselves?
Yes. Well, I had several people and some people that were really close to me say, because I knew that I wanted to be a professional coach. I had done it unofficially for over a decade, working with small to medium business owners, helping them get money when the bank said no. And I loved helping them holistically with everything from marketing to branding to, personal issues. Because any entrepreneur listening, when it's your business, it's your baby, it's who you are. And what I hear from people is that, well, there's already so many people in that space. There's never going to be enough clients. How are you going to be able to do that? And to me, that's a scarcity mindset. It's a lack mentality. So I really had to teach myself, with support, that we live in an abundant universe. Just because there's somebody else out there that's a business strategist or a prosperity coach doesn't mean I'm not going to find a client. And that's what I want to deliver to people as well. There are multiple people in every arena. And I believe if you have the right mindset, that there are people that only, like you, Jim, are meant to serve. There are people only that I am meant to serve. So when you focus on abundance, you're not going to look for the Band-Aid to stop the bleed. You're going to know if you put in the work, the right marketing, the right outreach, the clients are there.
Yeah, that's the way I view with abundance. If you're doing good, it's kind of the golden rule: do unto others as you want them to do unto you. It does lead ultimately to abundance and success. So to stay diligent, to stay steady, be that rock. It's so important. Yes. Another concept in your book, and this can be very difficult, and this is something I try to practice more each and every day, is gratitude. I'm so thankful for the viewers that I have, the followers and connections that I have. I'm very, very grateful for everyone that I've met in my life because I've learned so much, in my time here on the earth. Let's talk a little bit about gratitude.
Yes. Gratitude is a huge part of my life, and I express gratitude daily, verbally. I even keep a gratitude journal. And a friend of mine had reached out to me not too long ago and said, you're all about gratitude. Because I said, you have to be all in with gratitude. You can't be a fair weather fan. You could have a crappy day, something could happen, and then, all right, no, I'm not going to find anything to be grateful for. When obviously, if you're still alive, if you're healthy, you have a lot to be grateful for. But this friend said, so you're always all in with gratitude. So you're grateful that trauma happened to you? You're grateful that you were hurt? No, I'm not grateful for the trauma. I'm not grateful for the betrayal, but I'm grateful I had the strength to deal with it. I'm grateful that I didn't quit on myself. So gratitude keeps me moving forward. To me, that's directly connected to finding purpose in the pain.
Yeah, like I say, I think gratitude can sometimes be very difficult to express, but also to give out. We tend to look sometimes, unfortunately, we tend to be more, let's say, self-centered or selfish in a way, and it's subconscious, I think, more than conscious. Although I would say there are people out there it's very conscious with them. A concept in your book that I wanted to kind of go in a little bit more detail and depth is timelessness. What do you mean by timelessness?
I'm so glad you brought that up. That I really believe that attitude trumps age. And I know it's easy to say, but there are so many wonderfully gifted, talented people that we wouldn't be blessed to know if they said, well, I'm already north of a certain age, so why bother? I mean, from Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken, he didn't start that until he was in his late 60s. Grandma Moses picking up the paintbrush, I think she was 78. I'd love for somebody to try to tell Betty White at 99 that she's past her prime. She'd probably bitch slap them. So the timelessness to me is, if somebody says you're past your prime, I want people to know you and only you get to decide what your prime is. They've put those limitations on themselves that, well, I'm already north of a certain age, so why bother? That I think that's a slippery slope, because obviously none of us know exactly how many years we have on this earth. But if you really believe in timelessness, if you still have that dream in you, in fact, my mom, God bless her, she was 84 when she passed. She was critically ill for a long, long time, wheelchair bound on oxygen 24/7 and more than legally blind, and still had the best attitude. She said, every day you wake up is a chance for a dream to come true.
That's such a great story there, because you're right. When we're younger, we think we're going to live forever. We're immortal. But as we get older, we start to realize that we need more visits to the doctor. We have more medical challenges, but that should not hold us back. We should do everything that we can, with every day that we have alive, and to look at yourself and later in your life and to reinvent yourself. That's such an amazing opportunity to really give to yourself, but also give to those around you, to your industry, your community, however you might serve. I've seen people retire and go into charity work.
Yes.
I've seen them start organizations. I've seen them do like you have, where you're a coach, a consultant, a business strategist, an author. These are things that can be done. You don't have to say, okay, I'm at this stage of my life, I'm going to retire and just wait out to the end of my days and everything like that. So it's so important. The next concept that you cover in detail in your book is forgiveness, and this is also can be very difficult. You have, I would say, based on your stories, you've given a lot of forgiveness. What's your recommendation to those that might have been wronged or injured or suffered? How do they forgive and move on?
And this was probably one of the toughest ones for me, especially, as I remember a time when I was in elementary school and there was an incident. I came home really upset, told my mom what this girl Laura did in class, and I was so mad at her. And my mom said, you have to forgive her, Eleni. And I'm like, why? She's the one that did me wrong. And my mom said, forgiveness will help you stop being angry, because I was the one that was causing more hurt and pain for myself. And, of course, little did I know that I would have ample opportunity in life to learn that lesson over and over. And to me, forgiveness, it's a tool of freedom, without question. It's one of the hardest tools to use, especially if whoever did you wrong, whatever that means, whatever the experience was for you, especially if they don't show remorse or ask to be forgiven, it's still vital that we internally forgive them so we're not stuck in that emotional prison, because you're going to keep reliving that hurt over and over. There's no way you can live your best life. And of course, to me, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. That was the toughest lesson for me. If you ever should on yourself, as I say, oh, I should have known better. I shouldn't have done that. I should have made a different decision. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I think everybody at some point in time shoulds on themselves. And, we're human. We make mistakes. But if we don't practice forgiveness directed at ourselves, it's a slippery slope. That self-judgment, that guilt, that shame. So forgiveness is really, I think, the best tool for freedom.
Definitely. And it, like I say, it can be very difficult. Heidi Brooks post here, if you practice gratefulness consistently and hold yourself accountable, what are your recommendations for self-forgiveness? To your point, this can be very difficult.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. When I learned to look at my intention behind the action, an example, several years ago, I had a horrific renovation experience. I was so excited to get my condo updated and hired contractors that screwed me over, damaged the place, cost, tens of thousands of dollars. It was a renovation nightmare. And I was beating myself up. I should have hired them. I should have known that would happen. Of course, how would I know? And someone said, well, why did you hire them? And that's when the switch flipped. I said, well, you know what? I woke up that day and I thought, how can I royally screw myself over? And I made a list, and hiring those shady contractors was at the top of the list. Well, of course that wasn't the case, but I was treating myself like it was. So when I looked at my intentions behind the actions, I was able to have a little more grace with myself.
How'd everything work out with the contractors?
It was an adventure, and it worked out better for them than me at the time, but at least now I can laugh about it. And again, it's my intentions were I wanted to beautify my home, but I was acting like I wanted to screw myself over.
Yeah.
So I had to forgive myself.
As they say, life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So we can never guarantee that everything's going to be perfect. I have a home renovation coming up myself, but we were really diligent in asking a lot of other contacts regarding our contractor, and spent a lot of time talking with him and trying to get to know him a little better. So we felt very comfortable in contracting with him. So we'll see what happens come here this fall. The other concept that I really want to talk about, because it's such a powerful one, is creation. We think of creation, obviously, we have our life that is creation, but we create things each and every day. Let's talk a little bit about creation.
Yes. Well, for me, I honestly, full candor, did not realize that we're always creating, that I'm always creating my life. And dealing with the trauma that turned my world upside down, I went, oh, I am creating. I've always been creating in my life. But the question was, am I creating in the direction I want to go? Because we are making decisions every day. But how conscious are we when we're making those decisions? So to really understand, it was about taking my power back too. I can create the life I want. And again, my life before the trauma, there was nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't the life of my dreams. And I thought I was just going, not I thought, I was just going through the motions. But when I began to take an active role, no, I'm going to create my life in the direction I want to go. So again, we're always creating, but are you creating in the direction that you want positively, or are you creating something negative that's holding you back or keeping you stuck?
And since our introduction, and our interactions that we had prior to the live stream,
Yes.
I sense from you that pride in what you've created, and you seem to be in a very happy point in your life with how you reinvented yourself. So what advice do you have to people that are watching this stream and going to watch the replay when it comes to creation? Do you, dealing with due diligence, believing in yourself, what advice would you have for them?
Yeah. First of all, you have to get crystal clear on your vision. What do you really want to see in your life? And kick the limiting beliefs to the curb. Well, I've never made that amount of money before. Or I've never been able to live there before. Or people my age have never done this before. No, kick all those limiting beliefs to the curb, because they're always going to come in, and you have to acknowledge them, but you don't have to let them set up camp in your mind. So get crystal clear on your vision. You have to write it out. What do you want to see for yourself personally and professionally? I mean, we have to break it down. It's not just about, wishing and dreaming, if wishing would make it so. And, I was going to say, I don't really mean that so cavalierly, but in essence, I do, because I see people that, I really want to change, or I really want a new career, or I really want to get in shape. All right. Want apparently is not getting you off your ass off the couch. Mm-hmm. So you first have to get crystal clear on your vision, write it out exactly what you want, and then reverse engineer from there of what it will take to make that come true. But much like a GPS system in the car, the first thing we do is plug in the final destination, right? And then we get the steps to go there. Because I've heard from so many people, but I don't know how I could do this. I don't know how that could happen. I get that. I still say that to myself. But if we don't have the final destination in mind, none of that matters. So get crystal clear on your final destination, then reverse engineer, and you'll figure out the hows. You'll figure it out. And of course, don't be afraid to reach out for support. I don't believe any of us are meant to do this alone.
Excellent. Before we would get into our third and final topics, I put together a video, kind of talking about, obviously, in the aspect of reinvention. If you could hold on 1 minute, let me play that, and then when we get back, we're going to talk more about, obviously, reinvention, and let's specifically talk about the release of your book and details that you want to provide regarding release date and how to purchase the book and things like that. Okay, hold on 1 second. Thank you, Eleni. I hope that you're getting value out of today's stream with Eleni and our conversation on her new book, My Reinvented Life: Finding Purpose in the Pain. During my research on the topic of second acts for professionals, what I'm talking about is professionally reinventing yourself and your career. Now, many reinvent themselves to pursue long-held passions, or unfortunately, sometimes by actions of an employer. The Reuters article points to a 2020 survey conducted by MetLife that found that 1 out of 4 women are right now considering a career change. No matter who you are and no matter where you are in your career, taking the step to reinvent yourself is a big decision that needs much consideration. The 2020 pandemic has provided an opportunity window for professionals to reflect and think about making reinvention transitions into a second act career. The article stresses 3 considerations that you should follow. First, don't put all your eggs in one basket, meaning that you need to be flexible, as you might not be able to exactly nail the second act career that you are targeting. Second, join a supportive community. LinkedIn provides communities on which you can rely on for professional advice and professional services, such as coaching and professional support. And last and important, don't act out of panic. If you've been pushed into a second act career as a result of a layoff or downsizing, resist the urge to jump after any new job. Research your options and take time to reimagine what's possible for you. Time is precious, so take the time to decide how you will reinvent yourself. The Reuters article is very informative, and I will post a link to the article in the stream's comments, as well as a video description when the stream's recording goes up on my YouTube channel. Okay, now back to Eleni to finish today's stream conversation on her new book. Welcome back, Eleni. Let's talk about reinvention moving forward. What advice do you have for people who are looking at reinvention?
Yes. Well, again, I truly believe it can be done at any age. You and only you should decide what your prime is, and don't listen to anybody else say that you're past it. Again, that's their limiting beliefs being projected onto you. And get crystal clear on that vision and give yourself some credit. I always ask people, and I even go into detail with this in my book, that, first of all, write down all of the wonderful things that you're a rock star at. You probably don't give yourself enough credit. Think of all the things that people over the years, whether it's colleagues, friends, family, came to you for. Like, Jim would be the perfect person to help me with this, or Jim would know the answer to this, or, they could direct me in the right direction. Make that list. Give yourself credit, because I see so many people not giving themselves enough credit. And then, of course, make sure you think about what you are passionate about, what you want to do. The second act, the second chapter, however you want to phrase it, now's not the time to fit or try to conform into some little box that, this is all that's available for somebody my age. I should just do this. No, screw that. You are the creator. And I believe without question, if you're truly passionate about your vision, you can make it happen. Again, we all need support. We all need help. So don't hesitate to reach out. So look at your own skill sets and think about what you love doing, and then see if there's any overlap, because there could already be something sitting right in front of you that, hey, I really love doing this. People always come to me for this skill or these kinds of questions, and you can make it happen. I want people to believe that they can, you're writing your own chapter. You're writing your own second act, going back to creation. And I really believe that reinvention, we are all capable of it. And again, keep in mind, even if you've had a 30, 40-year career in one arena, it may be all you've ever done, but it's not all that you are.
Very good. I'm going to bring up this post from Carl Davenport. He talks about the bus, the story of the bus. If it does not have your final destination, don't get on that bus. Don't just take any new job or position. Go for your vision. And that's such a critical point that we should be stressing to everyone watching this stream and also watching the replay of the video, that you want to make sure that you research, know yourself, take an assessment, and make a decision based on your feelings, but also too, what's your passion, what's your goals, what are you looking to be in your second act?
Exactly.
So let's talk about the upcoming release of the book. Obviously, it's available through pre-order and different platforms out there. In the stream post, there are links to be able to purchase it. And then also too, are you going to have any type of a book release party, or let's say some type of event?
That will be coming up. So the actual release date is August 17th. And yes, it is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Book Depository, Chapters Indigo. I'm sure there's a few more, but those are the main ones. Excellent.
Eleni, is there anything, we've had a really great conversation, a lot to take away from this stream. Is there anything that we did not talk about that you would want to leave with the viewers?
I believe we covered a lot, but I can't reinforce enough that I really want people to believe that they can move forward. You can move past the trauma. And when I talk about finding purpose in the pain, again, it's not about saying it was okay what happened to you. It's not okay that you were hurt. It's not right that you were betrayed. I'm not saying that at all. But I want people to be able to get some type of lesson out of it that's going to help them moving forward. Because I'll never forget the first time somebody said to me, well, life happens for you, not to you. That pissed me off. I'm like, how could something that hurt me, that frustrated me, those people betrayed me, that's happening for me? Like, those are fighting words.
Yeah.
And obviously I've since learned that, okay, instead of always looking at it, I've never been a fan of the why me. It was, what can I learn from this? Doesn't make it right. Doesn't mean it was deserved. But if I can say, what can I learn from this? I know I'm going to get to the other side. And I want everyone to get to the other side.
Oh, great advice. Great advice. For next week, viewers, I'm going to be having Joe Sinnott, who's the host of the Energy Detox Podcast. We're going to be talking about professional coaching. So make sure you join us, Joe and myself, next Wednesday at noon Eastern Daylight Time here on LinkedIn for a really good live stream. Eleni, thank you so much for this opportunity to have this conversation with you. I encourage everyone to take a look at the links, purchase My Reinvented Life, Finding Purpose in the Pain. It's a great book, and you're going to learn so much about Eleni's story, but also about yourself. And there's a lot of great opportunities for people to reinvent themselves and to have that second act in their life.
Yes. Thank you so much. I really appreciated this time.
No, thank you very much too. Eleni, have a great day.
Thank you. You too.